What's up, everybody? And hello. Assalamu alaikum.
It's going to be a dry one, based off today's topic. Go ahead. You're the host. I'm just a guy.
Welcome, everybody. It's definitely not going to be a dry one. Tonight is going to be an absolutely amazing show, a very informational show. Tonight, we are spinning a topic. So, the last two episodes of the recipe, you guys got to hear Brother Jolly and Brother Naiem.
I'll just jump out there and okay, go ahead. I'm going to let you finish. Go ahead.
He be really trying it. He be trying it. The co-host, I think, is going to the head a little. But you guys got to hear Brother Jolly and Brother Naeem give us the ingredients to a good Muslim wife from their opinions, from their perspective.
Good answer. Good answer.
It was definitely opinions.
Fueled or enraged by these opinions, tough titty said the kitty, but the milk's still good. Go ahead. What you were saying?
So because he feels that way, let's blessed to have two beautiful Muslimas inside of Beyonka Studios tonight to be able to give us their perspective on that topic, as well as going into the new topic, which is the ingredients to the recipe of a good Muslim husband. So y'all got to tell us what the ingredients to a good Muslim wife was. But tonight we get to hear from the sisters what the ingredients to a good Muslim husband is.
Yeah, respectfully in their opinions.
Respectfully in their opinion.
Let's be mindful. The other show, that first one we did was over 1,200 views. So, it's 1,200 people were sitting back and they're watching and listening.
Yeah, but I will say this because I know that we have some knowledgeable people here. So even though some of them are views, yeah, some of them are views, but I believe that these good sisters are knowledgeable enough to not just bring their opinions, but also bring facts. Am I right?
Correct.
Correct. So let me introduce the first sister here. The very first sister here we have is Sister Sierra. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for joining us. And next we have Sister Imani.
Who?
Sister Imani. Salam alaikum. Sister Imani. When I just said your name, it just reminded me of first time I ever heard the name Imani. And I'm not gonna stay off topic, but it just Imani is like that sweet saddle name. And I think everybody heard that name on Poetic Justice. So they was like, oh, and I always wanted to do that, but I went with the K's. But welcome, Imani. Assalamu alaikum. I'm so happy that you decided to join us tonight. I love that you all were not at all afraid to come and have this conversation with the brothers because they were very opinionated. So, starting off tonight, I would like to just bring the floor to you all immediately because they got to give us their opinions on what the ingredients to a good Muslim wife was. So, you know, but I don't believe they gave the exact ingredients. They just kind of told us like how they felt about different things going on in a marriage that a husband should do, that the wife should do. And I'm sure you guys, both of you had the chance to watch the show?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Did you get a chance to watch one of them?
I watched a little bit of it.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to just start from the show one. How did you feel about that show?
Thought it was done well. I think the talking points was done well. The three individuals that was on the show, I think it just matched well. Everybody brought their own individual, character to in their opinions and things regarding the Quran and Sunnah. So I thought it was done well.
Well, okay, I appreciate that because I thought it was thought it was good as well. Were there anything that was said on that show that stood out to you that you wanted to address tonight? A whole bunch. Hold on. Okay. Wait, where's the pen, Charlie? Because
I was writing down, but then I just said, you know what?
Okay. So yeah, let's get to it. Okay, so let's address the first thing that you would like to address tonight. Because the brothers, are y'all ready?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I think it was more so on episode 2.
Oh, episode 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was I don't know if you want to call it a comment or an opinion when it was said that women who make a certain amount of money or who is labeled independent
Mm-hmm.
um is not necessarily submissive in the home.
Mm.
And
I ain't see that part.
I said it.
that
He's-
kind of
I
spice.
And why you feel? Oh, I'm sorry. Why you feel like that? Okay.
So I thought that was interesting
Mm-hmm.
because
Put me on you.
I wonder where do they get that from? Is it from, and this is not to bring out anybody's personal experience, but is it from personal experience? Is it from, brothers communicate in the community? Is there conversation that's being had? I'm just curious of where people get that from because that's not necessarily always true.
Right.
So
Is it or is it an intimidation?
Or is
It's all that.
Love that. It's all that. Okay.
Yeah, I can
Ain't no
respect
shame in the game.
So the question came from a viewer in the first episode, they messaged me and asked the question, and I'm gonna just tell you why they asked the question. They said that they noticed that Muslim men, their wives like working in the nursing field, not to put the person on list, but working in the nursing field, like once a sister is working too much or if she's starting to make more money and moving up, then all of a sudden they're making excuses like, oh, my husband needs me more at home, and they're letting go of their job and their dreams and going back home to be a housewife. So they looked at it, and this was a non-Muslim who sent that into the show. They looked at it as, well, can she not be above him? Because does that make her not submissive? Did she have to? Because she didn't feel comfortable asking her friend this question. So she felt like, I always wanted to know that, like, is it a point in a marriage for Muslims where it's like, okay, you can do this, but only to this statute, and then once you reach this statute, you can't go no higher because I'm not higher than that. So that way they keep them to be submissive. So I was like, okay, well, just ask ask a question on the show. So when the brothers did say that, like, definitely stood like to me, to that person, they were like, see what I'm saying? They don't want her to make money because he probably didn't want her to make more money than him, because then she wasn't going to do whatever he needed. She feels like a Muslim man wants the Muslim woman to feel like he's superior, like he's needed. Like if she's making more money than him, then how is she feeling like he's needed? That
Well,
is
I
what the
think that he
conversation.
can be needed in different areas. I don't feel like
Absolutely.
it's all financial at all. So
Really?
Check out.
I'm just saying though. So
Check out.
where's this?
check me out. That's my
I
opinion.
mean, we hear you. We hear you. We
I'm
ain't
glad
nothing
you
wrong with that. But I'm just curious. I mean, you saying that that's not the end all be alls other areas or whatever. I mean, like, where those sisters that are not looking for any financial gains? That you're saying that he can be helpful in other areas.
Well,
I'm not
I
saying
didn't
for me
say
some
no
brothers I don't.
financial gain at all. No, I said if a woman makes more than you, I said you can be resourceful or more beneficial in other
In what
areas.
other ways? I'm curious.
Islamically,
Okay.
Nah.
handy around the house,
Oh,
handy with the sister's business. I mean, it's different. Handy with your children.
oh, similar
You know
to
what I'm saying? Teaching
similar to
me the
Khadijah.
deen.
That's what you're saying.
Different things.
That's what you're saying.
Teacher.
I'm just saying that's to me.
I'm asking you. Said helpful with the business, so I gotta ask. Is that what you're saying?
I said different areas. Shit, that's one of them.
Okay, that's interesting.
So why are you shaking your head, Naiem?
I was listening.
You made this
Good to
one
be
tag.
true.
No, I mean,
To be true. That's all.
well, yeah, it is too good to be true, but I'll say it is a form of intimidation because here's the thing. In most cases, if a woman don't got years in with you, she not gonna support you like that. So I've never seen a woman come in and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna make this 150. I'm a nurse. You go to school, and I'm gonna hold you down." Like that's you. What y'all saying? That's probably y'all, but most women in the community not thinking like that. And you do have men and women who use their finances as an intimidation tactic. But you talk about teaching. Who really want to learn the thing?
Me.
Me.
I want to grow with my husband.
Yeah.
I want to grow with my husband. And you
Alright, cool,
also
so
are
let's-
talking to thoroughbreds.
So
Like I'm not.
here we go.
Just saying, I'm not a young girl. So I haven't been there and I've done that. So now I'm looking for
let's
something a
unpack
little
that for a
different.
This is
Right.
Imani for y'all knowing the community.
Let's unpack that for a second, right?
I don't need no introduction, baby.
All right, what do you mean? You say that might be your thing, right? But let's be real. in most cases, people want a trophy piece. They're not really trying to grow. It's a difference between me teaching you and us studying together.
I would like to study together.
So, like we talked, what was episode 1 or 2? Like everybody got to have their own personal walk.
Mm-hmm.
It can't just be like because I'm doing this, you got to do it, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
You got to kind of be individual and be a team at the same time,
Right.
and find that cohesion.
Right.
But I haven't seen it from other brothers and stuff like that. These people that talk about it don't.
I think that when brothers vet these women, they are not talking about the serious conversations or topics initially. And I don't think that, in my opinion, I don't think that brothers are courting sisters or maybe talking to a sister long enough to really get to know the sister. Like, y'all haven't, I'm just saying, y'all haven't really been through anything together to see what the sister is going to do or how she's going to react to a situation.
So what would you recommend some brothers do?
I'm just saying, for me, I think that some brothers should give it some time. I know we ain't supposed to, take forever to get married, but I think you should get to know your spouse a little more than some of these brothers.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. I like that though, right? But it's no. Hold on, let me check.
It's individualized.
Hey Siri, turn on silent mode. Sir,
Sorry, I can't help you with that.
yeah. See my man said, "Cause you talking, I'm trying to talk to him, trying to get him to chill out." Talking, he can't talk. That's my Indian man. What? I have made a post on social media, and I'm just curious of your opposition to this. She made a post and she said, "I feel like when people get married, they should stay. Since we're trying to do the righteous thing, they should stay in whatever situation they're in and just date for like a year." Do y'all agree with that?
What you mean? What you mean? Stay in what type of situation that they in?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean dating from the rip?
No.
Or you talking about with like if I live by myself, you live by yourself, we get married, but we're dating for that first year.
Okay.
Like a trial.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
That's interesting. Saw, hold on, because I saw it and I'm like, wow, this is very interesting. It's not that okay. Well, he's going to automatically assume this, or you're going to automatically mean the responsibility. What I'm saying, it's not saying that he's going to do that. Now, obviously, y'all can work out whatever arrangement y'all want to. But the sister was saying that she feel like this is the way things should go because, again, when we striving to be good Muslims, you really don't know somebody until you live with them, travel to do business with them. So then the thing is, when you get with somebody, I was told I was being a butthole because my thing is, no matter what happens in the course of the relationship, if you get with somebody, I personally feel like if it's not there, it's just not there. Like, why do the 6 months, the year? How long is it going to be before you realize that this brother going to keep sucking on that glass joint? You know what I mean? How long is it before he gonna be he gonna fall back on running around there on the DL and stuff like that? Because these are real issues that happen in the community, and people constantly like chill, patience, and like sis.
I know a brother who did that, and he had a wife out of town. He didn't care, and they got married, but they did their I guess trial period, if you will, for like a year and a half.
Are they like still
They
married?
still together. So after that trial period, they still got along, so they decided to join.
Okay.
They still.
What's the
That was like, yeah,
It's very dope to me.
absolutely.
What's the conditions of that arrangement though?
What you mean the conditions?
I think it could be whatever you want because that's what it
Arrangement was, but the brother was tired of remarrying and remarrying. He got like what you're saying. He got tired of that, so that's what he came up with, and it worked for him.
That's good.
So when I'm saying the conditions, like, are you being intimate or are we just dating?
Yeah, they were intimate, but it was more dating. Like she would come on the weekend, he would go see her on the weekend. Yeah, and then she just joined him.
That might work for them because they got the state.
That's cool.
But still, even if you're not,
even if you are in the same
had
state.
like, I wouldn't mind. Like, I'm single. I live alone. So me coming right in a marriage, that might be a little difficult for me because I'm used to being single. So that would be ideal for me because I would feel like I'm married, but I am dating because I get to see my husband on the weekend. That's exciting for me. So if we doing that for a year, then that means that okay, now I know what we don't like. And he know what I don't like.
Yeah.
And he likes, and then so we're slowly merging together.
I think that would definitely be ideal. I've never even thought about that because with the whole process, right? With that whole process, like you said, you can't stay intended for a long, like you're not supposed to stay intended forever. And dating, you get to know because I always used to be like, "Dang, what you gonna do if that person is snoring?" And you like, "Oh, I can't take that."
But that is very important.
Yeah, it really is. Even down to how somebody keeps himself clean. Like you get to go over that house and you get to see like, oh, okay, I see that bathroom is still dirty. Yeah, that's not something that so that year, I think that's beautiful. Yep. Right. So okay, so being submissive, I feel like your answer is still that Muslim men do like submissive women. And one of the
Hold on for a second. You're cold? Would you like me to go to my truck to get my jacket? It's very warm.
You sure? I mean, not you. I'm saying her. You sure? Okay, because I'm about to say, I feel like that.
You know what I mean? I mean, she cool. I know her. You know what I mean? So, my thing is when that is, it doesn't bother me. Me
It
again.
doesn't bother you.
No, and I don't think generally some brothers. I'll say it doesn't bother some brothers. But again, this gonna go back to the court and then talk to the right one because I mean, a sister making more money that doesn't stop my flow or whatever. Like if you're real, going back to when you ask him what kind of man and stuff like that, you dealing with particular a man.
Mm-hmm.
Your penis don't make you a man. And what I'm saying is, if you're a man and you dealing with a grown ass woman, you're gonna understand like, yo, we gonna rock together. We gonna do this together. So if you make more money and you're saying, hey, I want you to commit to this, is that, the third, then you can easily commit to it. It's not a big deal. Now, when terms of submissive comes in, that's when it's really got to be talked about. Like, okay, you make more money than me, but you're gonna still give me the respect that I quote unquote run this household. Now, I'm not saying that you gotta walk over the ground. I mean, lay over the ground that I walk over, but at the same time, we gotta understand that it gotta be certain tiers, and that's what I mentioned in the very first one when I was talking about it gotta be that joint understanding. Like, okay, if you're not running downstairs to get the door, the burglar downstairs, and I'm not gonna be huddled up in the room, then let's work on it. Maybe one week I can wash clothes, and then the next week you do dishes or cooking stuff like it got to be understanding. But the problem is, it's going to go back to the communication. If the communication is far off, it just ain't going to work.
Yes. Okay, because
I wanted to piggyback off of a comment that also was made, but it's still all relative to this topic. No, I ain't going. No.
Okay.
The comment is, like I said, isn't relative to what we're talking about. Most women who make good money, a lot of money outside of the home, hold high positions outside of the home in their career. When they come home, they don't want to have to make decisions. They want to be submissive. They want their husband to tell them, babe, what are we doing? Okay, we doing X, Y, Z. Boom, cool. That alleviates the stress out my house when I walk through my door. Me knowing what like not me specifically, but knowing what my husband may want, may need, and he telling me what to do. Most women, not most, some women is not going to have an issue with that because it was a comment made on the last podcast. Like basically, what I got from it was, they be hard to deal with, and using their money as affluence in a home. But women who do that, who like gotta make major decisions outside of home, don't want to make no decisions in a home. For me personally, I want to come home. I already know what you want. You tell me what to do. I don't want you. You know what I'm saying? So,
like for me, marriage is a business contract. You know what I'm saying? So everything should be already laid out and understood.
Right.
So, and I feel like when a man says he wants a submissive wife, I don't think a lot of these men think about what are you doing to make her want to be submissive to you. And a lot of and a lot of it is a lot of men don't know how to properly treat a woman or date a woman or court a woman or talk to them. They haven't been taught that. So they want all of this luxury and all of this submissiveness, but I want a man to make me, that's my baby. Whatever he want, yeah. But that's how he makes me feel. because it's all about how you make me feel.
Right.
And it don't even have to be top notch. It's how you make me feel.
Right.
So I'm gonna do it.
Right. Absolutely. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, no matter to me how much money a woman makes or the man makes, honestly, especially for women. I'm a woman, so making more money, and I can speak from experience, never made me feel like I was more superior as far as in the household, but I felt like now that I make more money, it should be easier in the household. So, like you said, like when I come home, like everything, I shouldn't even have to be like, oh, well, let's do this, that, and the third. Like it shouldn't even be, and it doesn't even have to be me making the decision or you make like let's make this
But my
decision.
thing is, if it's already established, why are we talking about my money? Because my money shouldn't matter if we already have
Already have what
established
you have, yeah.
what your responsibility is and what my responsibility is, and we never have to talk about my money because I should be able to do what I want to do with my money as long as my portion or whatever the agreed upon amount is taken care of, and the same on your part. So I'm here to make it easy for us all because I don't want to be stressed out.
Right. How you feel about that?
Let him answer first, and then what's happened on when he got.
Oh, they cheated because they studied.
They definitely.
They study before they got it, so they know what to say.
Study.
So here's the thing, right? I think we make it sometimes. Like we we're two right now. So he specifically said we're not talking about deadbeats and stuff like that's trying to flip the tax money, right? If you got a solidified man, like you're saying, then it shouldn't matter. Now, y'all speaking from your personal experience. Problem is how many women in the community share that experience because there's brothers out here that we talk to, young brothers that want that, but unfortunately they hear the horror stories, right? So it happens. Huh?
I'm sorry.
Somebody walking. So it happens, but it goes both ways because you got on the opposite end, you have women who want to be housewives and you have men that be like, yo, I make this money, I can do what I want. So
But are you saying that things have been established from the jump?
that's everybody's situation will be different.
Everybody's
It should be. It should be
what I'm
established.
saying. If it's not established, you're all over the place.
But then, like prime example, like she said, the sister said at first when the sister got married, she was working. Then all of a sudden, the husband switched up and said, "Well, I want you to be a stay-at-home wife."
Yeah, once she got promoted,
But like you said, conditional, so that means the contract needs to change. What's your expectation now?
So you saying that right? But how many people want to renegotiate that contract?
It has to be renegotiated.
No, you understand that.
Yeah,
how many people want to do it?
No question. She said if the husband said, "Now I want you back home," that contract needs to be renegotiated because now what are your expectations of me now?
Now that I'm
Absolutely.
in a home.
So you understand it, but a lot of people don't. So when you have people who may not be in those situations like y'all that may be financially stable, if it's certain resources or time allotment that they get, that renegotiating is going to take that away. So you have to be like we talked about since y'all watched the first podcast. It's a fact they study. Girl, she already told you.
No.
But the thing is, we talked about that about knowing your spouse and giving, taking the sacrifices, right? Like we're not telling no woman because a man pay all the bills. Like you say for the AIDS quarantine, ain't got no salt and pepper slap across the head. We're not saying that. But if you want to come to the table, you got stuff already conditioned, and y'all for, this is what it is. If we go left or right, we're gonna come back in the middle. Then yeah, you can do that. But most of us not doing it. Most of us not coming to the table like that.
I mean,
it's a big thing in our community like that.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, if you're asking my opinion, I'm on a show. That's what I would advise people. You have to you gotta abide by a contract. We all live in a society. Everything is contract based. So then why people don't look at marriage as a contract? Basically, it's even a contract. I mean, it's verbal or written. So it's an understanding.
I better write it down.
You gotta write it down. I recommend you to write it down.
Right, absolutely. Curious to know though, real quick, and we're gonna go to another question. What's one of you don't have to give us a specific story, but just something to give us an understanding of what a horror story would be. And this, you say y'all hear horror stories about this topic.
I think we all had horror stories out every last one of them.
I mean, horror stories.
About you mean the terms and stuff like that changing?
not even no.
Just people masks falling off and stuff like that.
No, not even that. To the sister not being submissive and the money changing. Like, yeah, what would be the horror? Because is it that the sister is now being superior and now trying to take over the household?
Well, me personally, I haven't been in that situation.
No, I'm not saying you have.
I've seen it.
No, I mean, I think that when it comes to those kind of issues like that, I think what happens is sisters will jump in these relationships, and the whole time these guys will become flaky. They want to do like big time gaming, or they want to do other stuff, and they flake out. So the sister, quite naturally, she got to step up to the plate.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the problem right now. A lot of the women got to step up to the plate, but that's only because, or some women rather, but that's only because they're dealing with these soft ass men. That's what the problem is. Like, they dealing with these soft dudes, and the sisters got to then in turn step up to the plate. Like, me personally, I'm gonna get out there and hustle. That's right. I'm gonna get out there and work.
We know, Jolly. We know.
Like, on the other foot, you got sisters with that same energy, and unfortunately, these brothers gonna go back to the put your foot in the ass, messing up the egg Florentine brothers.
Okay.
They come and they present this who I am. Unfortunately, and sisters get bamboozled. Same thing with some brothers; they get hoodwinked too, and they be thinking that what they're getting is this, and then the return is really not.
They not
Brothers be real live bums out here, like. And I'm not saying we don't fall short, but a lot of times that's what these sisters in these positions where they got to go out there and they got to work hard. They got to step up to the plate because you slacking. It's not like, yo, I'm gonna bust my ass so that I can push you to that level of achievement for our benefit. A lot of times, brothers be slacking.
And I agree with that. You know, I agree with that. But there are some sisters. There are some sisters who are willingly wanting to go out here and work and willingly wanting that, like, they actually have like career goals, and this is what they want to do. It's not that they have to do it, but
so they get out there looking for house husbands. Y'all looking for just saying.
See, here's the house husbands. So
that's what I said.
Here's the thing, though, right? Like, this is the track. So unfortunately, a lot of times you get people that's career oriented. They not. You can be friends, compadres, all that, but they not in relationships together.
Right.
A lot of times they get in the brothers that's gonna be bums and not really hustle. Brothers getting the sisters that don't really want to do that. So you end up. I use the analogy when we talk all the time, right? Like, you got a flat tire. How many times you gonna keep trying to drive until all your tires flat? So essentially, you can't really go nowhere with a flat tire. So how you gonna do it with 2, 3, or 4? So like he's saying, you gotta start as we get older. I'm pretty sure I'm in my 40s, closer to 40s.
Just bring your ass across the country. Yeah, we all you planning this stuff. Let's get up. These men got away. It's like I don't need no one now. See, it's over.
So basically, a lot of times, right, as we get older, like they saying, y'all represent a portion of the community that's already seen some nightmares and stuff like that, right? What the A lot of stuff, like I feel like all of us been here. We can close to our 40s, right? We already seen some nightmares in the community, in the house situations or community. 25 and under.
Okay.
So y'all represent a portion of the community where it's like, yo, I'm already solidified. I know what I want. I know what I don't want. Now we can build off of that. A lot of people coming into these situations, like we talked about on podcast number 1, a lot of these young brothers, they don't really get financially stable and know where they're going until they start hitting their early to mid 30s. Y'all come out, you feel me? No disrespect to those women. Y'all come out, as soon as y'all can push a baby out, y'all like hot shit. You feel me? Like, everybody on y'all. Y'all get to a sexual peak before we do. Then it's like, all right, now I done went through some things. I can kind of pull back. Why are you smiling?
Just listening to you.
So, I mean, smile with a purpose, but and like when you look at it, y'all reach a sexual peak and success before we do. We don't really start coming to that until like our 30s. So now, because no shade at nobody, but because you went through things, you know what you want. Most of these sisters don't know what they want because for whatever reason, experience is the best teacher. When they go through, oh, we got Michael Myers coming down.
No.
Now, the camera done been knocked. So, most of the name.
You good? So, like, when you go through them nightmares, right? Experience is the best teacher. But how do you react to the situation, right? Do you keep going through the same cycles over and over? Or you say, yo, I got to get my stuff together. Like, a lot of us, even men, we not coming to the table with degrees, business oriented stuff like that. Some brothers got it, some don't. But we need to get more people into those fields. Like, in the Muslim community, you have a lot of brothers that want to be entrepreneurs, but then they can't really do it. So then they struggle.
I think that some brothers need to also take accountability for their part in what they're not doing to be successful. Because did you say that men aren't usually successful until they like 35?
I'm not going to say they're not successful, but if you look at it outside of Islamic, this kind of falls in us outside of Islam, right?
Well,
If you go to other communities, a lot of them young bucks, they 18 on up, them Indo Paks, they got their families together. Indians,
that's
Asians,
a different culture.
different
So
cultures.
yeah.
In our community, yeah, a lot of us not getting ourselves together until we hit like 30. Like even myself, I ain't go back to school till like 28.
And what I'm saying is, I'm seeing a lot of older brothers still trying to get themselves together, but you want a submissive wife.
So yeah, that's the point. Like you not learning from your mistakes. Like I know you're a little older than me, but I don't know your age. But using your age, she has the
Same, y'all
all right,
same
so
age.
we same age.
No, I'm joking.
Oh,
I'm pretty much 40 with a ball spot, so I don't think
listen, she's up there, but she's still seeking.
Jealous.
so cool, right? Let's just say
Ain't no bums. Come on, shit, let me put this out there real quick. The sister's still looking, all right? She ain't looking for no bums. She got a all of them. She got a yeah. She got a so you know what I mean? Yeah, I ain't saying when she driving and all that.
Yeah.
Out the
No.
50 plus over curve. Damn near. Her eight is on back order.
No.
Say it, let's see.
You have the right
Off the chain.
to step across this. You have the right because this brother is out of control.
I'm sorry.
So like I just said, right at the table just 40 for conversation purposes, right? So those older brothers that's coming, how many of them are homeowners? How many of them got a 401k? How many got investments? How many of them got a will to leave to their kids to inherit and stuff like that, right? So when you talking about they want a submissive wife, you're right. You can require that your man have these things because it's intuitive for success of your relationship. But the problem is, as individuals, what are we doing with these situations?
So I have a question. So this is something that women can think about. Does being submissive equates to what a man brings to the table? Does it mean that you have to make a certain amount of money or be an entrepreneur or do these things in order to be submissive in your home?
No,
See, for me, I feel like once again it goes back to the agreed upon. What's agreed upon?
But in your opinion, what is?
That's true. You respect me.
Well, you already kind
I
of said.
already
You
said,
said it.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
already said what it is for me.
I think sisters gotta. I think it's the way some of these brothers carry themselves too. If you no different than is a thing of in order to get respect, you gotta give it. So I always look at that as that because, like I said in the very first one that I was talking about, some brothers unfortunately they're under the notion that when the sun go down, you don't you can't be outside, but I can be outside. Nah, it actually works both ways. When the sun go down, you gotta go in the house too. So I feel like when you talk about that submissiveness and stuff like that, I think it just gotta be it's a level of respect. Some sisters, y'all know that y'all gonna say, okay, I'm gonna give this dude this kind of respect. Even if how he approach you is messed up, you know you gonna give him this level of respect or that level of respect. some men don't command that. You have to command that. Like that's part of what being an alpha is. Like you got to be that person, but you also can't be overly aggressive about it. Like I'm
I'm
gonna
glad
I'm
you
gonna
said
take
that.
that. Like you gotta be humble.
Because some men, some men feel like they're alpha. You gonna do what I say. That's
Right.
it. That's all. And it's overly aggressive. It's like
It's too
I
much.
think that's why I
be
put that.
submissive to that. That doesn't
Right.
register.
So
That
and that's
It's
why
going it's going to immediately like be
Yeah.
combative. Like it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to have a good household in that way. And I think because that image is also put out there to the world, a lot of people when they come and ask me questions about Islam and being married, when they talk about the men, they say the submissive part, like, oh well, I couldn't be submissive, and I heard that your husband can beat on you. I heard you have to walk 3 steps behind the husband. Why you make that face? But the husband cannot right, but that's not no, we're not gonna shout. But that's not true, right? Brothers?
Well, I've heard it before.
I know, but that okay, well, brother Naiem, because we know you the knowledge. Not that you're not knowledgeable.
I got certificates and belt.
Islamically, can a husband beat his wife?
Yo, Naiem.
answer that with wisdom, please.
Actually, like you don't know how everybody's domestic violence. No.
Period.
All right.
But they
So
use
settle. Ain't nobody saying that.
When they talking about beating is like admonishing with light words and stuff, like trying to counsel, not like physically punching somebody in the face without going all into details.
Some brothers think that.
They gonna take it literally, yeah. But here's the thing, I got a question for y'all, right? When y'all talking about submission, without being overly emotional, can you articulate to your husband how to be better communicated with you so you can submit versus beating him down like he a child or you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of women, a lot of us women, I'm gonna say us women, hey, a lot of a lot of women, they have this misconception that you gotta treat a man like a child. So the thing is, how do you reverse that so he can listen? Because if you start yelling at me like my mother, I'm gonna shut down. I don't care. My mother don't even talk to me like that.
That's after it's already at a certain point. I'm gonna tell a man all day long how to treat me and how to talk to me. And
I'm saying, can it?
Yo, they gotta chill, bro. They gotta chill. Seriously. They gotta chill, man.
That's not like that.
Just see stuff I watch. Yeah, stuff open. So
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to. Again, let's just so let's move on. But what you guys did not answer, because we're gonna move on to the sisters. Y'all give us 3 ingredients, just 3 characteristics, because the ingredients are the characteristics
understood.
of a good Muslim husband.
I appreciate that. I'll let you go first. Appreciate that.
You know you want a timer, Jolly.
Oh, now you starting the timer when I come on? Ain't that about us? All right, so no.
I just pressed it before.
Teamwork, communication,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that may mean to whoever, teamwork, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and then the communication, and then that willingness to be patient. Like that's important to me. Everything else I can really get over. I mean, I enjoy a fluffy, quality towel.
Okay.
I believe
I just
Okay, 3. Okay.
it's been a long day.
So you enjoy okay, so a quality for you, a characteristic is a sister that can provide some clean quality towels.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. All right, Naiem.
What's the question?
What? Just give me 3 ingredients of a good Muslim wife. What are the characteristics? That we ending this. This is what the whole thing. That's all.
That thing is start,
Yeah, I mean, we talk about being a team player.
Okay.
And foresight to see the whole picture.
Mm-hmm.
And being obedient, or should I say, be in compliance with whatever y'all. I don't want to say obedient, submissive, but be compliant with whatever y'all agree. Whatever y'all agree to, we all gotta comply to. I'll say that.
Okay.
All right.
That was like, alhamdulillah. Okay. Now, so because this definitely gonna go into a part 2, because now we're gonna talk about, we're gonna start it over. No, we ain't run all the way over, but so we're talking about the ingredients to the recipe of a good Muslim husband, and it's so wonderful that we have
Your voice is changing up.
Absolutely.
It definitely did.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Sweet to the sisters.
But yeah, being all nice, you said the brothers all the rest. So free. I need to come like, oh, sis, you ain't even like. I see what here. I'm gonna let you.
This how the sisters need you to handle them, gentle, with care.
Is that right?
Okay.
Yeah, she just not that aggression. You know, it's not.
We
It's
should have
not 24.
found out when she was by herself.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Well, look, I got back up today. So, what? What are the ingredients? What are the ingredients? What do you think one of the first characteristics of a good Muslim husband would be?
First and foremost, you gotta feel love. Like you gotta feel love. We gonna
Hey,
start with Quran and
put some checks in
Mm.
that. 'Cause we gotta come back to that.
You gotta feel
put some
love.
checks on that.
You gotta be a Muslim man that is practicing Muslim man.
Mm.
With proper adab.
Whoa. Okay. Hey, check on it.
So in the promo, did I send it to you?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna send it. Well, in the promo I put today, like what makes a Muslim husband? What makes him Muslim? Because some people think, no shade to anyone, but some people think that because they took their shahada, they're Muslim. So, what makes a Muslim husband?
You asked me what
Yeah,
makes
what makes him Muslim? What makes him a Muslim husband? Other than just the shahada. Yeah.
Oh, so what else to
Yeah.
continue?
Yeah.
Oh, God fearing, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be a provider. I want a provider. Most women want a provider.
Uh-huh.
Whatever that may entail, whatever you agree upon, that's between, individuals, but a provider. And one generous, right? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was generous. He was God fearing. He was a provider. Okay. So for me, and not just generous in talking about financial stability, but talking about with your emotions, your time, your energy, how you deal with me, with your children. It's a little bit more deeper than financial stability.
Absolutely.
So for me, those are the 3 top qualities.
And I feel like a man should be gentle as well.
Be gentle.
Mm, mm, mm.
So you gonna give us 2 more?
I ain't gonna give y'all.
I ain't gonna give y'all 2. Okay, and what I meant by the question of like what makes him a Muslim husband, other than him just taking his shahada, like are there requirements? And I guess I'll bring it to y'all because they gave us their 3. Are there requirements of a Muslim man to his wife? Like what are his duties to his wife that are from a Muslim?
Let's swap it over here to Kevin.
What?
I mean,
What's the
because
question?
I don't want to give my opinion and then somebody talk to my truck and go outside. So I'll let you hear that.
What's the question?
Yeah, he need to repeat it there.
I need to hear this.
Okay.
I don't like how to say
People up here talking about we not tongue tied. Okay,
What is a good Muslim husband?
slow down.
Yeah, I'm like maybe I should word it different.
So-
Maybe that's too much.
You saying what's the characteristics?
Yeah, like what are the characteristics of a good Muslim husband?
There are some. Unfortunately, it's not talked about. Because in our community, a lot of stuff is based around, like you said, providing, right? So, unfortunately, a lot of our communities on both sides is based around the money. But if you take the money away, she had a good point about like practice.
Can I ask something?
I ain't done yet. So practicing, that's one. A lot of us do lack the emotional intelligence to be in these relationships, but that's a deeper conversation. I feel like it go back to communication, and you gotta have a game plan. Like the husband is like the CEO of an enterprise. If you put him ahead of your affairs, you gotta have a game plan. Now you can help him and assist, but you gotta fall in line with what he doing because you may not see the bigger picture. He's gonna make decisions based off of logic, not your feelings.
And that's how you command respect from having a game plan and following through with your game
But
plan.
the sisters gotta see it too.
Well,
They
yeah,
got- they
you
gotta-
gotta
they
allow
gotta
us to
see it.
see it too. You gotta trust the process.
On that note, I'm about to just. You gotta. I mean, so here's the thing. I hear what you're saying, but you gotta understand a lot of people who may be watching this are not in the age group where they can have this conversation. So
They'll get there one day, inshallah.
yeah, we don't need them getting
Lead-
one day.
That's
We
the
need
point
them
of
now.
that's the-
You gotta lead them. Exactly.
I like how y'all did that.
You do.
They put a
I'm
lot of
just saying, can I
responsibility
ask you
on
something
us.
though?
What's it?
What's 3 good qualities about you as a husband?
Hot seat.
Just saying.
You should be able to just spit them out.
Nah, I can't, because I'm going to be real. If you ask me, I suck as a husband.
Really?
Well, from whose perspective?
Yeah.
Mine. I'm my own
Okay,
worst
wow.
critic. I'm not emotional. I lack emotional intelligence, like, meaning I don't care about your feelings. So, care, but then I don't. I know. That's what I'm saying.
So
It's me.
I ask you this. So if you lack emotion, right, and you don't give a so and so about
It's not.
someone's feelings, how do you expect a marriage to survive or prosper?
I don't know.
Like keeping it real.
I don't know.
So
But
and
it's not that
now
I
I
don't
did
care. It's
hold
not
on
that I don't
though.
care, though.
So I did hear Jolly in the part that I listened to saying he didn't want an expensive prostitute at home. So basically, if you don't have any emotion or whatever, is that all you're looking for? Because I mean, it is permissible to marry for sex.
No,
But I think you should keep it real though.
I would say in the context when I say I don't care, it means I know how to cut off emotion and focus on the business side, the logical side. And a lot of us men, it's not that we don't care, but we, like the sister said, she don't want to come home and make decisions. We always make decisions. We never get a break from making decisions. So it's like I know how to be like, yo, bump your feelings. We got to do this to get to this result.
Let me ask you this: could you deal with an alpha woman as a wife?
I don't know. I ain't never been in that situation per se. Now I can tell you
Can
when I
you,
wasn't
like,
a
if you
Muslim,
thought about it, like, do you think?
man, I'm still figuring myself out. I'm finally in therapy and all that, but I ain't totally ill yet. But I can't tell you that. I can tell you before I was Muslim, I dealt with some people that was kind of like competing to be the top spot, and it ain't work out.
Well, when I say alpha woman, I'm not even talking about somebody that's competing. Some women are alpha. Like I'm an alpha woman. I already know
Mm-hmm.
that about myself. That's something that I had to learn about myself. But that doesn't make me a bad woman. I'm so independent that it has put me in a place of being alpha
Mm.
because I had to take care of myself. I had to be in survival mode.
That's
You
where we at.
know,
Do
That's
you
where
feel
we
like
at
that
too.
has worked against you?
somewhat. I think that for me personally, I think that so the way I look at situations, and I guess I think some men should look at it too because I think some men are not living in the reality because I think that you should choose your spouse according to your caliber and the caliber. That's just how I feel. I feel like a lot of brothers are looking for this top tier caliber woman, but they right here. And because see them, they speak so highly of themselves, they don't really get that they're here, but they really here.
Mm.
And it's not that you beneath me, but I feel like, and then you have brothers that so quick to say what they're not going to do. I feel like you should marry somebody that's of your caliber.
I think it's the same thing with women too.
Yeah.
Because a lot
And
of
for
times we
me,
don't.
yeah. And
Yeah,
for
we
me,
don't.
like I am at a point in my life where you have some things going on. And I need somebody that can, like, I am the table. You know what I'm saying? Like, can you sit at my table? You can pull up. You can add to my table. You can add to yours.
Right.
But I'm not going to no longer have a table because you came into play.
I just saw.
So that goes both
So
ways.
wait a
for
minute.
men,
So
too.
to end it, I'm saying I have to be real with myself to say, are you in the caliber of a man that you need to be in, or are you downgrading just to say you want to be married? Are you
Right.
downplaying certain things?
So wait, now let me just say this because I just watched this podcast where the man was saying exactly what you just said, as and we as women fall short because we make that
Absolutely.
statement. And I was curious to even like for myself, even just understanding how do you not have that attitude? You know what I mean? I get not saying it. I get like maybe we need to watch our mouth a little bit. You know what I'm saying? When we're going and having these conversations with, a man or a woman and we, whatever, however you want to do it. But when you're having a conversation, not saying like, "Listen, I am the table." Is you going to because that may be too aggressive, and then that may.
But I don't
that
say
may,
that. I'm not saying. I'm saying it on this platform.
Well, I get what you said, but that's what he was saying. He
Yeah.
said like a lot of women are quick to say, "I am the table," but if you are the table, and if you're making me feel like you are the table, you don't need me. Then why am I going to
But
want to
see,
come?
I feel like that. I need a man.
Right.
And I
I'm
want.
like, what is the middle?
So let me correct myself. So yeah, I need a man for different reasons.
Right.
I don't need a man to take care of me. I would like a man to take care of me, but I don't
Right.
need a man to take care of me. So
Right.
I'm already an established woman that already knows what I want. I already had my whole career, my whole
Right.
life going on. Like I said, that's why I highlighted the way you make me feel,
Right.
because you might not necessarily, I might not necessarily need you to do all of this for me,
Right.
but I might need you to cater to my emotion and make me feel good. And
Right.
that may be enough for me.
Yeah.
So everything is situational. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
absolutely.
And I have to keep going back to the contract. I might not need a brother to take care of all of my bills. I might not even be looking for that. But I might need you to pay this because this is what we talked about.
Right.
But you can't what spin off of say for an example, you said you was going to pay $2,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Oh baby, I ain't got it this month. Nah, that ain't
Nah,
gonna work
that's
for me
fine.
because I gotta
Yeah.
have it every month.
Right.
So because I take care of myself, I can't really keep taking shorts from a man. I'm not in that place no more.
Right.
So it's either you gonna pull up and we gonna go ahead and expand this table together, or you can go ahead and stay where you at. Respectfully.
So I'm just
They did a lot of studying.
so I'm just curious.
I've had so many talking points from last week.
I ain't gonna say nothing else.
So when you saying that if he say he gonna commit to that, and then for whatever reason he can't, for whatever reason he constantly comes up short or whatever, what are you? Because you said you, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are you giving back for, hypothetically speaking? Because I'm poor, I can only afford $50 a month. Any sisters interested? Let me know. So for you, um, what what is it that what's coming back from that? Like what's that ROR?
Whatever we agree to. So if I'm interested in you and we talking, you're gonna tell me what you expect back from me, or expect from me.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to hold my end of the bargain as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a one-sided situation. So I'm gonna bring it just like I expect you to bring it. If I fall short, that's a problem for you.
So now, with that being said, if you fall short, then what? Do we?
See, I'm a hustler just like you said you was. I'm gonna get that money. I'm gonna get that money. So or whatever we said, I'm gonna get that.
So
You know what I'm saying? Because that's my word. Like I gotta hold up to what I said I'm gonna do, just like I expect. If I have high expectations for my husband, I understand that you have high expectations for me as well. And I don't want to let you down, boy.
Yeah. So that's why you have to do exactly what you just said and marry the same caliber of, because and I'm asking you that, like speaking about that other podcast and bringing that back up, because I want this to be informational to everybody, but especially because we speaking about the sisters right now, to sisters to understand, like maybe there's a different way we can come to the table and say it. Like maybe we don't gotta be like so aggressive with it, or maybe we don't gotta make a man feel a little less than when we letting them know, like, listen, this is what it is. Contract, like the contract is like, listen, but understand this contract is being made. I need to make sure this contract is being made by somebody that understands. Like, listen, it ain't no I ain't got it. It ain't no that's not even on the table. I ain't got it.
Sisters go a lot of brothers are giving sisters verbal contracts, and then when you go and play that contract back, oh man, I don't remember saying that. I thought it was this, but you don't have nothing written down to go back to.
So then how do you fix that though?
You gotta write it at that time. Let's go ahead and make one
immediately.
With the Wali?
With Hawaii, yeah, we need to be somebody that is gonna witness. Yeah.
Our sisters actually wanted to go back and renegotiate that
I
contract.
feel like everything need to be renegotiated. I feel like you should check the temperature of your wife every now and then too.
And that's also
Babe,
checking
what
the
I'm
temperature
doing
of your
wrong?
marriage.
Is there anything I can improve on throughout the relationship? Like it should be some temperature checks going on. Because ideally when you get married, you want to keep your marriage.
And people change and grow also in marriage.
And
Nobody
so-
stays the same.
Exactly. Just like your Iman, your faith goes up and down. Let's get this thing back on track. Same thing with marriage.
You said what now?
People grow and change in marriage.
In what sense?
In a lot of senses.
Bad or
emotionally,
good or bad.
yeah.
So if the other person doesn't change, then what?
I mean, they just don't. I mean,
I'm
that's a
asking
conversation.
based off your-
That's a conversation that could be had. We need to renegotiate.
We need to renegotiate. I love this conversation.
Well, individually, human beings, period.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's period. So,
Yeah, some people outgrow each other.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some people lose interest.
Right.
What
They
did
do.
he just did?
And if you lose interest, having that conversation is important. I think a lot of the issues come when you don't have the conversation. When it's just swept
Keep it
under the
boxed
rug
up, yeah.
and you keep on just like, okay, well, I'm gonna set this aside. I'm not gonna say it right now. I'm not gonna say it right now. And for women who are alpha women, we might not say it, you might not say it a couple times, but once you do say it, you saying it with blows. You know what I mean? Not I'm not even saying physically, but with blows, because you're built up. You know what I mean? So I think the communication is definitely like the key ingredient to making sure, that contract, that marriage, that relationship, that friendship, all of that like stays healthy. So if you do grow apart, if you do feel like one person is growing, the other person is not, then that's a conversation you need to go sit down and have.
Really?
Okay.
Lee.
That's very interesting.
You
We have another question.
I didn't expect this.
Want to ask Sierra to jump in there?
Okay. Let me see. What was okay. Where is the
I got time today.
don't have me using Jolly's phone, everybody.
I can't get it. And I'm always hoping.
And it's funny.
Hold by the handle.
I'm just saying because I did, and I feel very,
Okay, hold on.
I feel
Let's go to it. You feel very
Time is
7:49.
okay, so can a Muslim husband dictate what their wives do and how they live their life and spend their money?
to a degree, yes. Islamically, from Islamic perspective, we gonna call the spade a spade, yes.
What was the question?
Islamically. Yeah.
Say that a
She's
little louder for the sisters in the back, please.
Yes. What was the question?
can a Muslim husband dictate what his wife does and how she spends her money?
And what was your response?
Speaking to the mic.
He's never said time.
Coming from an Islamic perspective,
Made that clear.
I can't speak on a financial aspect. If that sister making her own money, I'm not speaking on that. I don't know. I'm gonna say that.
Okay.
But in regards to the first part of the question, yes, a man, because it's repeat the question again.
Can a Muslim husband dictate how his wife lives her life?
To a degree, yeah. So, prime example. So, say you're married and you want to do something that's kind of out of the fold of Islam or out of what a Muslim should be doing. Your husband can check you on that and tell you, no, you can't do that. And Islamically, you have to kind of abide by that because what he's calling you to do is the good. So, yeah, I'm gonna leave that there. I'm going to go in, but
That question was a loaded question, Tom. At first,
but I'm not gonna speak on the financial part. Because I'm gonna go into my opinion.
Okay.
But speaking from an Islamic perspective,
I try to push the questions that people been inboxing me. I try to push it into like a one box because it's so many, and it's like I don't want to hear it. But basically, that question stemmed. A part of that question, as far as the financial aspect, stemmed from a sister saying that her husband is telling her that Islamically, her money is her money, but he expects her still to help pay bills. And she was like, well, you said Islamically,
like
my
he
money
goes back
is
to
my
the
money.
question: was a contract written? Was
Right.
these things discussed in the beginning of the marriage? There shouldn't be any switching up in the middle of the marriage unless a life changing thing happens, right? He may lose his job. Say he's a 1099 worker. He lost a contract.
Okay.
Things happens in a marriage. Certain things, and I feel like sometimes we don't do as Muslims. We do not sit down in the beginning when you're courting, sitting down or whatever you want to call it, have tough, real life, conversations.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you straight now. I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for 15 years. Any brother that I'm interested in marrying, I'm telling them now, I'm never going to stop working. This is a career that I built with my blood, sweat, and tears. I'm not a stay-home wife. Now I can assist you in other areas, but for me, my career is not up for debate. question any of that because I work too hard to get to where I am.
Absolutely.
So for me, I'm letting that known from the door.
From the jump.
Either you can rock with it or you can. And if you can, it's okay.
Right.
You know, so
you're saying from the door, it's not even up for debate. So that shouldn't be a
not up for
conversation
debate.
that we even need to have down the
Yeah.
line. And just because you change it, you feel like, well, now I want my wife at home. No, that's not. We already have that contract. I love that.
And to keep it personal, I've ran into situations where it changes. They get comfortable. They know what it felt like to come home. You got dinner cooked, house clean. I want you home. Well, according to the conversation that we had, you know, I understand. Maybe I can adjust my schedule a little bit more. Maybe we can meet each other in you know, halfway. Hey, I ain't stop working. You know, because that's my money. I like to make my own money, and I like to spend my own money in a way that I see fit.
Right.
You know, so discussions just need to be had from the beginning.
So you okay with him doing the same thing?
As far as what?
Working?
Long as you know, you still have to make time for one another. Y'all, both couples can't just be we working. So how do you build in your relationship?
Yeah.
How do you sustain?
Somebody got to make a sacrifice coming in the door.
Both people need to make a sacrifice. Okay. Yeah, and then you can still everybody can meet each other halfway.
Jolly, you don't talk with any togetherness at all. You just talk as a single man sometimes. Like when you give examples, it's always like it comes across as if it's one sided.
Or maybe it's coming off from my perspective, and then the stories that I've heard being unfortunate in the position that I have in the community. That's a possibility. So I'm speaking based off of other people. Now, my personal experience, I think I did talk about some of those other week. Maybe you weren't here for it. That's very unfortunate.
I did say in the beginning that I didn't listen to the whole.
That's very unfortunate. However, to be clear, you know, not really sure why it's coming off like that. You know, if people are bothered by the way that my responses are,
about being
I really don't care.
Well, we know you don't care, and I didn't say anything about being
But
bothered.
again, I am legitimately giving responses based off of what I've seen, what I've dealt with, and then unfortunately being in the position that I'm in, things come across me more than a little bit. It's very unfortunate. I have to call other people up to get their advice on how to handle or how to deal with certain things because I'm not extremely knowledgeable when it comes to the dean. So I'm giving things based off of experience, and then I'm giving things based off of the things that was presented to me. So if it's presented to me and I'm going back like, oh, okay, this is that and the third, and that's what I'm gonna base it off of. Like, not really sure why it's coming off like that. And if it is, then again, that's very unfortunate. It's a matter of perspective too. Like everybody has their own perspective on things, you know. One could, you know, say that about you, you know. How could you give that advice?
I've had that conversation with my dear friend here before I even came.
Had you?
Yeah.
And what was that like?
It was very well.
Was it?
Well.
Oh, okay.
Just because people may not have certain experience.
Because I'm not giving advice on what someone should do. I'm just
No,
telling
you're giving your own opinion.
my opinion and what I would like from a spouse. Just like you shouted out on there that I'm single.
Yeah. I got to put that out there because I mean, alhamdulillah, you're a good sister, and you know, never want to see. I legitimately want for myself. Like I'm not the kind of guy. Like if it's something that I want, whatever the case may be, like I want people to succeed because that's what we should be at in heart. Like.
Right. So that's why I pose certain questions on you because I do love you and I do want to see you succeed. So I just be giving my opinion on what I see for a possibility for you to kind of look at it in a different lens.
Shift my word.
Thought process.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm good.
Oh my goodness. And I think it is really good to hear both perspectives. I think it's good to hear from someone who isn't married as well as hearing from someone who is married because there are a lot of sisters, I believe, that aren't married. My daughter's being one of them that are looking to get married, but are trying to understand, like, well, what should I be expecting? How should I be? And that's why I love the advice of the contract part because I want them to be successful. You know, I want them, and I mean, I want everybody to be successful. Okay, I ain't just gonna make it on my base, but I want them. I want people who even watch this. I had somebody message me on YouTube from another country and say that she just got married and she was lost. She was confused as to what she's supposed to do because she's new to Islam and she just got married. So she was like,
Kudos.
no, not to me. What? Oh, for her messaging me. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah. But
yeah.
she. It was the first show, and so she was looking at Jolly's perspective. But no, she was saying like having this platform to be able to hear from people was important for her. She was like, I didn't know this existed. So now that it exists, being able to hear different people's perspective, whether you married, you divorced, or you're married, never been married, either way, you have a perspective and you have questions and you have experiences, and all of that matters. All of that's valid.
I got a question to pose. Sitting here, this let's see, I read mine. Like, what do you? So I heard you talk about, like what you're kind of like looking for and stuff like that, or what your opinion of the Muslim man is. I'm just curious, whatever. So, what what would you? No, let me take that back. I'll save that for another time.
Mm.
How does a woman, in your opinion, yours too, sister? I know you looking, but still, you still a sister. How do you determine? It's I'm going to be me. How do you determine what makes you or individual a good wife from your perspective? Now, not saying from your experience. I'm just saying from a woman's perspective. Like, what do you? How can a woman determine that she's a good wife?
First of all, you gotta know who you are as a woman.
Okay,
You have to know who you are.
confidence.
I'm just being real. You have to know who you are.
Okay,
You have to know who you are as a woman, as a Muslim. Period. A lot of people out here lost, still trying to find themselves. And this is why sometimes women make mistakes in marriages. Um, that's just the first and foremost thing. I'm not going to talk specifically on what makes me a good wife or what makes me a good woman or whatever, but because I know I am. But that's not from my own perspective. That's from what I've heard.
Right, right.
That's from what I've heard. I'm not speaking off my own what I feel about myself.
Yeah.
So, I just think women just gotta know who they are.
Yeah.
And then they can go based upon, you know, that. I don't know.
Imani, care to chime in on that? What- because I've heard that before. Where it doesn't matter whether it's private, personal, whatever. It doesn't matter. I've heard that before, and I'm like, okay, well,
Well, to
because I'm a
piggyback off of
POS,
her,
I'm not a good guy, I'm not a good husband, I'm fine with that, let me just be myself. So I'm saying this, I'm saying, oh, I'm in therapy, don't worry. So I'm saying, I'm just trying to figure out okay, so it is not to you particular. I've heard that what you said, alhamdulillah, if you that's what you are, alhamdulillah. I've heard someone make the statement that I've been told this. And I'm like, so then does that mean that
they're a good Muslim wife?
yeah.
Oh, you mean saying
you?
No, I'm asking me what's the qualities, what are the qualities of a good Muslim woman?
No, I'm asking you. The first question I asked was, what makes how can a sister say I'm a good wife?
okay, so
But then you kind of felt like you answered it, which I believe you did. And then when you was tooting, you made that statement. And I'm not saying that that's an incorrect statement for you. I'm saying what gives a brother the right to validate that and say, okay, this is a good sister, because I believe, just like myself, talking about me personally now, like I believe I'm a good dude. I believe as a husband I have things to work on. However, I can sit here and say exactly what you did, what you said. Like, yo, I know I got some shit with me, like we all do, but I know that, yeah, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, I just poke my chest out. But as far as when somebody come to you and say that, like, yo, you're a good woman, you're a good wife. Yeah. Well, what are they basing it off of? Because just like another guy, I don't know how many times you've been married. I don't care how many times you've been
But I
married.
think it can only be
But
based off of that individual that told you that.
so does it
Because
make you
someone else may
right?
think that I'm not a good wife.
Right.
So from his perspective,
She can keep
she's
her
a
own.
she can toot her own. So
She can
everybody,
fix it.
maybe
Yeah.
everybody told her across the board. I don't know, but I'm just saying, in reality, everybody is not
Yeah.
going to get. Everybody's not going to get across the board.
It's
I'm a
the
good
same.
wife.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you and the individual may not have gelled, and he may base you not being a good wife because y'all don't gel. But in fact, you may be a good wife, but just not to him.
It just depends. I feel like it
She been watching. She been watching what she said. So are the duty, because the way you asking it, of course, you know, you speaking from your experiences, but are you looking at, oh, no, no.
I'm just asking a question.
Okay, because are you, okay.
I want to know if she's a good wife.
So, hypothetically, if someone's to say to you, I'm a good wife, I know I'm a good wife. Okay. Sorry,
I'm listening. No, I'm listening like I'm talking to you.
wife, I'm a good wife. I know I'm a good wife. You know what I mean? I'm coming home every night. I'm making sure I cook you dinner. I'm making sure the house is clean. I'm making sure the children are taken care of. I'm here waiting for you. Okay, I'm here waiting for like I'm doing my duties as a wife. So I know I'm a good wife.
not only that, I'm making sure as a wife that Islamically you on your A game. Any soreness that you fall short, we had a baby. Come on, let's go ahead. We got to have this Akika because we don't see that a lot nowadays, right? I'm making sure. Okay, all right. You've been working. You praying the man shit this week. Did you go to Jumu'ah? Okay, boom. Little things like that's just a little.
So if the
But I still think it's individualized.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I don't
Absolutely.
think that's just a general question. Like
It's
you
still
can, it's individualized.
Getting the kids together.
And then I still have to go back to what he wants. Like, what are your expectations
Right,
of me?
because
right.
everybody
It's
is
all in the
different.
beginning. What do you want from me?
Right.
Because you can want a list of 1 to 20
Right.
and I fulfill that. So to him, I'm an excellent wife.
Right.
Somebody else might want 1 to 5 and I did 20 and they
And
say
that's
I'm not a good wife because she doing too much.
Right, right, right.
So some people
yeah.
are simple, some people are not.
Right. And I was just trying to understand Jolly, like what
Oh yeah, I mean they
is it oh okay, they did. Okay. So 1 through 20 need to be need to be fulfilled though. Before we go, 1 through 20 need to be fulfilled.
I plead the fifth. Listen,
You've been
who
open.
my president is. We talked about it last week.
Okay, yeah, we're not gonna talk about your president. Okay, sisters, I'm so grateful that you came and sat and had this conversation with me. My doors are open. So, you know, I'll be sitting here alone with these. You see what I'm going through. So my doors are open. And as I said before, I welcome other sisters to be able to speak for the sisters, you know, and give their perspectives, as well as the brothers as well. You are more than welcome. If you are interested in being on the podcast, please inbox me and just, you know, reach out to me or reach out to Jolly. And we'll definitely make sure that you are part of the next conversation. Now, the next topic is
what is the next topic? Let's talk about
just real quick, okay, because we got the person behind the next topic.
We about to knock over the camera and say, you might next topic out there. Where's out there?
The next topic is talking about intimacy in the marriage and how to keep intimacy good in the marriage.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be a wild night.
So
I'm gonna get my big
keep the intimacy good in the marriage next Thursday, 6 p.m. live on Facebook, YouTube. Thank you to everybody that tuned in, and thank you for all the comments. I'm definitely going to get back to them. Jolly is as well. Thank you again. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Good night.
in the one. Get out first. Did we miss Novelist?
Huh?
Did we miss Novelist?
He sang about it immediately. He said,
Off the
Are we off the top?
yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Why?
I understand.